Hello, lone wolves. For decades, society has largely viewed men through a binary lens, categorizing them as either alpha or beta. The alpha male has long been glorified as the assertive leader, dominant, confident, charismatic, and always in the spotlight. He is the man who commands attention, leads a pack, and thrives on external recognition. In contrast, the beta male is seen as the agreeable follower. He's more passive, cooperative, and often more emotionally in tune, but generally content with playing a supportive role rather than leading. These archetypes have shaped much of our understanding of male behavior, but they don't capture the full picture. Enter the Sigma male, the lone wolf. Beyond the alpha and beta lies a third, more mysterious category, the Sigma male. He doesn't fit neatly into traditional hierarchies. He doesn't dominate like the alpha or follow like the beta. Instead, he exists outside the system, crafting his path with independence, self-reliance, and a quiet sense of purpose. Where alphas seek validation and betas seek acceptance, the Sigma male seeks neither. His motivation comes from within, not from others. This makes him a paradoxical figure, uninterested in the social game, yet often excelling in it without trying. A polarizing figure in modern culture. In recent years, the concept of the Sigma male has exploded in popularity, especially online. Some admire him as the ultimate independent thinker, a man who lives life on his terms and embodies freedom and self-mastery. Others critique the idea as unrealistic or overly idealized, a myth built on vague qualities. Despite the debate, the Sigma male continues to fascinate people precisely because he is so difficult to define. His allure lies in what he withholds rather than what he shows. What is a Sigma male? A Sigma male is a man who consciously rejects traditional social dominance hierarchies. He doesn't try to outshine others, nor does he seek a spot at the bottom. Instead, he operates outside of these rankings, guided by his own values, goals, and internal compass. He is not antisocial, but selectively social, not insecure, but deeply secure in his individuality. Sigma males are often innovators, thinkers, and creators, driven by a desire to build or express rather than dominate. They are the lone wolves of modern society. People who walk their own path, not because they can't fit in, but because they choose not to. And paradoxically, this very independence often makes them highly magnetic, especially in romantic and professional settings. The allure of the Sigma male. What makes the Sigma male so captivating? In part, it's his self-sufficiency. He doesn't need anyone, but chooses to engage with others when it aligns with his purpose. This makes his attention feel more intentional and meaningful. Women, in particular, are often drawn to his emotional stability and independence. He doesn't play games, seek attention, or try to impress. He simply is calm, grounded, and quietly confident. In relationships, he seeks depth over drama, quality over quantity. But how do you actually recognize a Sigma male in real life? Let's dive into some of the key traits that distinguish him from the crowd. 1. He loves solitude but values deep connections. A defining trait of the Sigma male is his love for solitude. Unlike alpha males who thrive in crowds and constant activity, the Sigma male is more introspective. He enjoys being alone, not out of loneliness, but because it fuels his clarity, creativity, and inner peace. That said, he is not antisocial. He simply values depth over surface-level interaction. He prefers meaningful conversations with a few select people over small talk with many. Social situations that lack authenticity can feel draining to him. In relationships, he may not be the type to constantly check in or shower his partner with attention. But when he commits, it's real. His ideal partner is secure, independent, and emotionally mature. Someone who respects his need for space and brings substance to the connection. 2. He is a silent leader, not a loud boss. Leadership for the Sigma male doesn't come from loud commands or flashy charisma. Instead, he leads quietly through action and integrity. He doesn't seek status or recognition, but often finds himself in positions of influence because others respect his competence and reliability. Where an alpha might rally a crowd or dominate a room, the Sigma simply gets things done, calmly, efficiently, and without needing applause. His strength lies in his ability to inspire through example, not ego. This makes him a valuable asset in any setting, whether the startup, a creative team, or a close-knit group of friends. He stays focused on the goal, not the spotlight. 3. He adapts to any situation. Another core strength of the Sigma male is his adaptability. While alphas may struggle when they're not in control, the Sigma male remains flexible and composed, no matter the circumstances. He's not attached to a specific role, leader, follower, observer. It doesn't matter. He plays whatever part is needed, often with quiet excellence. His ego doesn't get in the way. His mission does. Whether he's solving a crisis, mentoring behind the scenes, or just do his own thing in a corner office, the Sigma male knows how to adjust and thrive. This ability to blend in and stand out at the same time is part of what makes him so intriguing and sometimes misunderstood. 4. He treats everyone equally. Hierarchy means nothing to him. From an early age, most of us are conditioned to respect social hierarchies. We're taught to defer to authority figures, idolize celebrities, and treat people differently based on titles, wealth, or influence. The Sigma male, however, completely rejects the societal programming. To him, everyone starts on equal footing. Whether you're a high-powered CEO or janitor, the Sigma male offers the same baseline respect until your behavior proves otherwise. He places no intrinsic value in titles, fame, or superficial status symbols. This perspective makes him a unique and often disruptive presence in traditional systems. As a leader, he promotes based on merit, not seniority. As an employee, he may frustrate authority figures who expect unquestioning obedience. And socially, he tends to attract people who are disillusioned by superficial social gains. Because with a Sigma, what you see is what you get. This egalitarian mindset stems from his position outside the usual social structures. Having never fully bought into the idea of ranking people by their perceived status, he evaluates others using a more meaningful metric: competence, integrity, and authenticity. Ironically, it's often this very detachment from the need for approval that earns him deep trust and high regard. People sense that he's not trying to impress or manipulate them, which makes his presence feel authentic and refreshing. 5. He has no need for a social circle, but can build one instantly. Unlike alpha males, who often surround themselves with social circles to reinforce their dominance and relevance, the Sigma male thrives in solitude. He doesn't require constant social validation. In fact, his social patterns are unique and strategic, often consisting of 3 distinct phases. First, his default state is being alone and fully content. He enjoys using this time to pursue personal projects, ideas, or simply reflect. Then, when necessary, he can switch into social mode, engaging deeply and charmingly with others, often leading people to mistake him for an extrovert. But after prolonged interaction, he enters a recharge phase, retreating into solitude to regain his energy. This intentional approach to socializing means he's highly selective about who he engages with and why. He might go weeks without reaching out to anyone, only to suddenly organize an unforgettable evening with close friends. At networking events, he can make powerful connections in minutes, then disappear for months. Rather than maintaining a large social web, the Sigma male typically nurtures just a few deep, loyal friendships and remains nearly invisible to casual acquaintances. What sets him apart is that his identity is not dependent on any group. While many people shape their sense of self around social roles and feedback, the Sigma male remains internally grounded. He knows who he is, whether he's surrounded by people or standing entirely alone. 6. He understands the power of silence. In a world saturated with noise, constant notifications, 24/7 chatter, and pressure to always be on, the Sigma male's comfort with silence is both rare and powerful. His quiet nature is not the result of shyness or social anxiety, but deliberate and strategic choice. Silence grants him significant cognitive advantages. It allows for deep focus, uninterrupted thought, and a heightened ability to observe and analyze. Rather than wasting energy on idle conversation, he can serve it for things that truly matter. It's this internal clarity that often gives him an edge in decision-making and creative thinking. Socially, silence becomes one of his most potent tools. When the Sigma male does speak, his words carry weight, because he doesn't speak unless he has something meaningful to say. His quiet demeanor creates an air of mystery that draws others in and simultaneously acts as a natural filter, deterring those who can't tolerate stillness or introspection. He tends to follow a kind of vocal minimalism, something akin to the 80-20 rule. He listens 80% of the time and speaks only when his input will add true value. For the Sigma male, silence isn't empty. It's a form of strength. 7. He calculates risk differently. The Sigma male views risk through a lens that is both analytical and philosophical. Unlike the alpha male, who may take bold risks to assert dominance, or the beta male, who often avoids risk for the sake of security, the Sigma takes a different path. He assesses risks like a strategist, balancing logic, intuition, and a deep understanding of long-term consequences. His tolerance for uncertainty resembles that of a Stoic. He's not afraid of failure. In fact, he sees it as an opportunity to gather data and refine his strategy. He's often skeptical of conventional wisdom, believing that what's considered safe or normal by society is frequently misguided. To him, safety nets can be illusions, and he weighs the risk of inaction just as seriously as action. This mindset explains why Sigma males often pursue unconventional routes. They might start businesses during recessions, walk away from prestigious jobs to chase personal fulfillment, or make radical life changes without flinching. From the outside, it can look like recklessness, but for the Sigma, it's a calculated move based on principles and foresight. 8. His self-awareness is his superpower. One of the most powerful traits of the Sigma male is his exceptional self-awareness. Unlike most people who move through life reacting without reflection, the Sigma engages in almost constant metacognition, thinking about his own thinking. This internal feedback loop allows him to pause after an interaction or situation and ask himself questions like, why did that situation bother me? Was there a hidden bias behind that decision? Or how can I improve that experience next time? This continuous self-evaluation is not about self-doubt, but about refinement and growth. In addition to inward reflection, he also practices external behavior calibration. He's acutely aware of how his tone, body language, and word choices impact others. Rather than mindlessly sticking to one communication style, he tailors his approach based on his audience, all while remaining true to himself. He walks a fine line between authenticity and pragmatism, staying real without being rigid. This high level of awareness makes him uniquely adaptive without being fake, confident without being arrogant, and independent without being emotionally closed off. However, there's a downside. This constant mental analysis can sometimes spill over into his personal life, particularly relationships. He may find himself overthinking interactions or dissecting emotions instead of just experiencing them. To maintain balance, the Sigma male often has to make a conscious effort to turn off his analytical mode and simply be present. 9. He engineers his own reality. Perhaps more than any other archetype, the Sigma male lives life on his own terms. At the core of this mindset is what psychologists call an internal locus of control. The belief that one's life is shaped primarily by their own decisions, not by luck, fate, or societal expectations. This belief empowers him to actively design his reality, rather than simply adapt to existing systems. In his career, this means rejecting traditional paths that require climbing rigid corporate ladders. The Sigma male prefers to build his own structures, often developing parallel income streams and focusing on work that gives him autonomy over status. He values freedom over prestige and purpose over popularity. In relationships, he sets clear boundaries from the beginning. He's not interested in drama or codependency. Instead, he seeks a partner who complements him, not one who tries to complete him. Even in committed relationships, he insists on maintaining a sense of independence, creating space for personal growth alongside mutual support. When it comes to his lifestyle, the Sigma male is highly intentional. He curates his environment for focus and productivity, removes obligations that feel performative or draining, and doesn't measure success by society's standards. Instead, he defines his own goals, values, and benchmarks, creating a life that may look unconventional to others, but feels completely right to him. 10. His complexity defies simple labels. The most defining trait of the Sigma male may be that he defies easy categorization. He exists in the gray areas between established personality types, often resisting labels that others readily adopt. He isn't antisocial, but he's selectively social, choosing when and with whom to engage. He's not reckless, but he's not afraid to break rules that seem arbitrary or outdated. He isn't emotionless, but he chooses to express his emotions with discipline rather than letting them run unchecked. This complexity makes him a source of intrigue for many. Psychologists and personality theorists find him fascinating because he doesn't fit neatly into boxes. People who value control may find him frustrating, since he cannot be easily predicted or manipulated. But for those who appreciate depth, independence, and authenticity, the Sigma male is deeply inspiring. In relationships, this complexity requires a special kind of partner. Someone who doesn't need constant validation, who values depth over charm, and who understands that his silence doesn't mean absence. He thrives with individuals who can see past surface behaviors and into the nuanced, deliberate world he inhabits. The Sigma male in the modern world. In today's hyperconnected world, where social media amplifies noise, conformity is often rewarded, and identity can be reduced to a hashtag, the Sigma male emerges as a uniquely equipped individual. His traits, once considered unconventional or even isolating, are now becoming increasingly adaptive and essential in navigating modern life. The Sigma male thrives where others may falter. His independent thinking allows him to see through the fog of groupthink and resist the pressure of echo chambers that dominate both digital and real-world spaces. While the masses often follow trends, seek validation, or conform to gain social approval, the Sigma chooses a different route, one that prioritizes clarity, authenticity, and purpose. His ability to create value outside of traditional systems gives him a significant advantage in a rapidly changing world. Whether it's building businesses, developing creative projects, or crafting unconventional careers, he doesn't wait for permission. He builds his own platforms and defines success on his own terms. In a time when job markets are unpredictable and old institutions are losing relevance, his self-sufficiency becomes a quiet form of power. Even more impressively, the Sigma male maintains inner equilibrium amid external chaos. While others might be swept up in the constant noise, anxiety, and volatility of modern life, he remains grounded. This calm, collected nature doesn't come from ignorance, but from deep self-awareness and intentional detachment from systems that don't serve him. However, walking the Sigma path isn't easy. It's not for everyone. It requires a level of radical self-honesty, the kind that forces you to confront your own illusions and weaknesses without flinching. It demands a comfort with being misunderstood, as not everyone will understand or even accept your refusal to conform. And perhaps most of all, it calls for a relentless dedication to self-mastery, constantly refining your mindset, habits, and goals without external motivation. But for those who resonate with the Sigma archetype, the payoff is immense. It leads to a life of authentic freedom, where your choices align with your values, not society's expectations. It offers deep purpose, unclouded by trends or superficial success. And it brings uncommon impact, not through loud dominance, but through quiet, deliberate influence. Do you resonate with the ideas I shared in this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in more content about Sigma males, explore the other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching.